I'm Kevin Eikenberry, and I'm here to help you reach your potential as a leader and a human being. Welcome to Remarkable TV. Today we're talking about taking ownership. Are you ready? Let's get started. Today we continue an 8-segment series based on a blog post that I wrote entitled 8 Ways to Be a Better Employee. And you can see a link to that elsewhere on this page. Now, you may be thinking, hey, I'm here as a leader, Kevin, I'm not an employee, but guess what? As a leader, you are an employee. And every one of these things that I talked about, I'm sharing with you because I want you to put your employee hat on as you listen, okay? Are you ready? I stated this one in the blog post as more ownership, less blame. And you may be saying, whoa, this one is for my team. I need them to take more ownership. Listen, the point of this episode is accountability. And you may be saying, Kevin, the title said ownership. You've said ownership a couple of times. Well, listen, accountability is ownership. Accountability starts with ownership. And if your first thought, as I started to talk about this, was, ooh, I need my team to listen, then let me just say this. You need to hear it. Because if you want greater accountability with others, it must start with ourselves. Again, accountability starts with ownership. So we must look in the mirror. And if you're wondering about what I mean by that, I've got some questions for you to consider. These questions will help you think about how much ownership you're taking yourself. Here's the first question. When a mistake gets made, what is my first thought? Is my first thought about what I did? Is my first thought about what's wrong with our process? Or is my first thought about some other person? If my first thought is about someone else, or why did they, or why didn't they, then we're not taking enough ownership. When a mistake gets made, what is your first thought? Second question, how often do I publicly take responsibility for negative results? Well, listen, it's easy to take responsibility for positive results. Well, listen, look what I did. I'm talking about when things go wrong, when things go badly, when we run over something, when there's a bump in the road. The challenge is, do you take, or how often do you take responsibility for it? If you do, then you're modeling the behavior you're looking for from others. Question 3, how often do I blame others first? Right? Like all of us eventually may think about others, and it's okay to think about who else was involved, but if our first thought is always the other person, then we're not really taking ownership and we're not really being accountable. Being accountable and taking ownership starts with focusing on us, not blaming others. Not one, remember always, by the way, if you point your finger at somebody, there are 3 fingers pointing back at you. So think about the 3 fingers first and not the one that you're pointing at someone else. If we want to be better employees, if we want to model the right things for our teams, remember this point. Strive for more ownership and less blame. Let me close with today's tweet. Everyone talks about accountability, but let's make it simpler. It's really about ownership. Own your actions and results, and you are accountable. And listen, if you liked this episode, there are a whole lots more of them. And you know what you can do? You can put it on Facebook. You can share it with your friends. You can encourage others to join us, because every week we're right here with another episode of Remarkable TV, and I look forward to seeing you on that next one.